There was over 300 Canadian athletes. When we flew in, you kind of feel a little famous because there's like little sections of the airport that are blocked off. Like, wow, is this happening? And then, wait a second, I'm just here. I need to perform. I need to get in the gym. I need to do some work. Our toughest opponents were the Brazilians. Evandro is unbelievable. He's 6'11", has the best jump serve in the world. And he has a presence about himself. You have to deal with that, knowing that you're this beast of a guy that's just going to detonate on you no matter what happens.
Yeah.
If you've done everything you possibly can to get there, your mind is already ready for it. Like, it better be.
The Break Talk, you're taking it to another level. Better get ready with your host, Adam and Loretto. The dopest show that you ever heard, ever seen. The podcast about nothing and everything. Yeah. Break the Break Talk. Yeah. Break the Break Talk.
Dan, you must be watching the Olympics as we speak.
Yeah, I watched a bit this morning. I watched some figure skating. It was, you know what, like seeing the different disciplines and the emotions that they show and the artistry that they have to kind of master. And then you see like the parents' emotions. Yeah, I got all fucking goose pimply and stuff.
Yeah. You have like friends that were people you know that are like competing right now in the Olympics?
I've met a few Winter Olympians at like previous Pan Am centers and like CSIOs where a lot of athletes train. I don't know as much as I should, but I do definitely have connections with social media and watch their journey and kind of follow their lives through there.
That's awesome. I think Canada is at like 2 medals right now. I think Norway
too. I believe in the last 2 hours. Yes, Megan.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. So Dan, what was it like playing in, because you were playing in Paris, right?
Yeah.
So when you get to Paris, you're with how many other people from Canada?
Well, there was over 300 Canadian athletes that were at the games, but when we flew in, we were just with our own kind of Volleyball Canada team staff.
Oh, so you only travel with the volleyball team staff, not all of the Team Canada itself.
Yeah, so they're all flying in from different areas of like the East Coast, West Coast, all kind of flying into France and all getting picked up in different ways. So yeah, we bumped into a couple teams flying in at the same time, seeing them all wear their like Lululemon jackets and stuff. But we were just with our Volleyball Canada team staff, you know, strength and conditioning coach, head coach, therapist, you know, volleyball coordinator, programmer, all that stuff.
That must have been like crazy, like going in the airport and you see all the Canadian athletes and stuff, or even walking around. You guys all like fist bump or high five kind of thing? Or is it like,
we're glowing. We're definitely glowing. We're heading towards, you know, dreams that we've tried to accomplish for years. Some of us they're so good and great at it. This is their multiple Olympic, like 2 or 3 Olympics in. And yeah, you just kind of share a similar glow when you're arriving and seeing everybody doing it. You kind of feel a little famous because there's like little sections of the airport that are blocked off just for like traffic of all these different countries and teams heading towards one spot or a big radial kilometers of France itself in Paris. So it was pretty cool and unique. But at the same time, you're heading there to try to perform and be your absolute best. So like managing your emotions when it comes to like being open to like, wow, is this happening? And then wait a second, I'm just here. I need to perform. I need to be my absolute best. I can't be thinking, oohing and awing. I need to get in the gym. I need to do some work.
Yeah.
So
that's the craziest part about the Olympics is that it's every 4 years. And you have that, you know, that one big opportunity. And it's like you've been training, so not just in the 4 years to get there, your whole life, say, and you have all that time just for one big moment. Whereas in other sports, it's like you have a league or you're playing all year round to play up to that big game, like the Super Bowl or something. But the Olympics is like, there's world competition, but then there's just one big stage every 4 years. And it's like the pressure is as high as it can be, I feel.
yeah, if you don't train your mind properly, or you start ignoring things about like, you know, things of fear and doubt, performance, like if you've done everything you possibly can to get there, you can spend more time in just being in joy and knowing that, you know, like when you step on the court, the pressure doesn't exist. You've already gone through everything possible to get to this point. So you just want to be in the moment and be as strong and as great as you can be. Like, yeah, your diet's super important and you need to make sure that you're sleeping well, drinking well, eating well, but your mind is already ready for it. Like it better be.
Yeah.
Dan, I got a question for you, and it's something I've always been curious because, to be honest, I don't know anyone who's been to the Olympics. So, so you're actually the first person. So I'm dying to ask, like, how do you like get into? How do you get approached by does your coach come up to you one day like, oh hey, like Team Canada reached out to you and they want to bring you along the team? Like, how does that process work for someone like myself who's not too sure on how that works?
Everyone has their ability to stand out. So, for instance, when it comes to athletes, the taller you are, the higher you jump, the faster you move. That kind of helps stand out in sports, like for volleyball, jumping high, hitting hard. For basketball, jumping high, putting down the slam dunk. Or when it comes to focus, like your ability to run and get a ball and be consistent with your touch, or players like Steph Curry, who are just super mindful in vision and have such an incredible shot that you start to stand out. So when you're younger, um, the physical aspect really starts to stand out. When you get a little bit older, some people can outwork that talent when it comes to discipline and work ethic and focus, and they start winning and they start beating guys that are bigger than them and stronger than them. And then that doesn't happen probably to your like early 20s, mid 20s. But yeah, there's so many ways in each sport that you can kind of stand out. And when you're younger, they identify you because you've had a couple medals, or you're faster than everybody, or you jump higher than everybody. You're louder than anyone. There's certain ways where you stand out where they identify you and like, oh, this guy wins. Let's move him to Team Ontario. And then, oh, Team Ontario, he still seems to be amongst the top percentile in the pack. Let's try him out for Team Canada. And then you kind of just keep striving to do that every day, better and better and better. And you're always in some type of comparison with the amount of athletes that are in that sport. And if you keep driving and you keep getting better, and even if you get older, you start breaking down physically, but your mind and your discipline better be making up for those younger guys that can still jump higher than you and hit harder than you. You have other traits and disciplines that you're better at them than them, and you use that to your advantage.
Because there is a big age gap, like between like Olympians, you can get into the Olympics. I saw the other day there was a 17-year-old like doing the skating. He was racing in like long distance, and then the event before that was, I think it was the downhill snowboarding, and like a 41-year-old won gold. And I was just like that's a big gap. Like to be 41 years old and then in a different sport, okay, but it's 17-year-old. That's huge. Like
it is huge. And yeah, that comparison is wild. I think there's a 15-year-old doing like ski jumping at this Olympics. She's like the youngest. And then you have like archers and other disciplines that are Olympic sport. And they're in like their mid 50s, mid 60s even. I'm not sure if it's that old, but yeah. And then even with beach volleyball, there's 40 and 41-year-old players that are considered veterans and legends. And then you have this young, early 20s Swedish team that beats everybody and they're gold medalists and no one can touch them. There's a 20-year gap between, mastery, but yet these kids are just, they have their advantage of focus and ability to be strong and healthy and make great decisions. Like it's incredible to see and watch.
Yeah. And Dan, that experience you had in France, I want you to take us through that whole. How long were you there for?
We were there. It was a long 2 weeks. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
We got in 6 days before, the opening ceremonies, just to get used to the heat and the travel and the venue and get things like how long will it take you to get to the courts? How long will it take you to get back? Like you have to find a routine pretty fast when it comes to food and where you're allowed to be and how long it will take. So once you kind of figure out your sleeping schedule, when to eat, how long it's going to take you to get from A, B, and C, you should be ready to start competing. And during that entire time where you're trying to find your routine and discipline, you're making moments at the end of the day or the beginning of the morning to just kind of reflect on, look where you are. Like just enjoy it. Enjoy it for the next, 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah. I heard that the Olympic Village was like, the bed situation was a little bit weird. Was that legit or was that just like phony news on social media?
No, it was real. It was definitely interesting to know that was happening. I totally understand the cause behind it. But yeah, sleeping on a cardboard bed frame was is challenging
Man.
for me. I had a hard time getting comfortable, and obviously being very tall, it wasn't really kind of suited for me either. But yeah, I made best of it. I ended up sleeping pretty well by getting some fans set up and sleeping in a better bed arrangement. But it definitely had an impact on my performance and how well we did, and also how poor we did. So yeah.
Right. And so when you did play, I was watching. I tuned in.
Yeah.
I was rooting for you, and it was so sick to see because I've known you for some time now, and I know that was always your dream was to get to the Olympics and play in the Olympics. And you had a lot of ups and downs in your career where correct me if I'm wrong, you stopped playing beach for a period of your life. Am I correct?
I did. I injured my lower back. The pain was getting too hard to manage. I decided to step away and kind of find my identity elsewhere through work ethic, through experiences, working for different companies, still coaching volleyball. I ended up working in the Toronto entertainment industry for a few years, meeting some great people and building relationships and going through a couple personal relationships myself just to kind of identify who I am and what I stand for. And then when I had an opportunity to come back, I was like, wow, I'm stronger because of how I stepped away and learned more about myself. And I'll dedicate myself fully and kind of gave it my all. And I'm very happy I was able to accomplish a dream, but I'm more happy at the decision to come back after adversity to kind of give it my all, knowing that if things don't happen, I'm more proud of myself than I ever was. 'Cause there are a lot of people that don't make the Olympics that definitely deserve to be there. It's just you need to perform in a moment at a certain time, and if you don't, it sucks. Or if you get injured, that's even worse. But um, it's usually the journey of how you get there that you reflect, and you really kind of only feel it internally, how proud you are and everything you went through. And that's why I get to points where I'm watching other athletes, even in any sport, if you hear their story when it comes to the NFL, Super Bowl, NBA, Olympics, some of the athletes have been through a lot and you kind of connect to them through that.
Yeah. Do you feel that with with volleyball not being like a big name sport like the NBA, NFL, NHL, do you feel like that's kind of everyone's goal who plays volleyball is to eventually end up in the Olympics? Because there's not like a
Pro leagues around
there's
the world.
pro leagues, but it's not as like pushed, right, and advertised as like the NHL, NFL,
For sure.
those big name sports. So when you go to the Olympics, do you feel like you're kind of putting on for the sport as well in a way? Because I feel like myself, who doesn't tune into volleyball on a weekly basis, but I would watch the Olympics. So not only are you getting like your volleyball fans, you're getting like fans around the world that are just watching the Olympics, right? So I feel like you're kind of branching off to a whole different like a fan base in a sense.
That's a great question, Adam, and perspective. I think you're absolutely right. I think the major sports that are watched majority of the time, soccer, baseball, basketball, NFL, and multiple others, volleyball does seem to not be as tuned into. But when you do have the opportunity to watch it, like Loretto said, every 4 years, it's beautiful to know that you are kind of the image of them being like, oh, this is how the best volleyball is played. These are the best athletes that play at this level. And even though there are pro leagues in Europe, not all the people get to see that. So yeah, it's an honor to be able to be like, oh, this guy is wearing this jersey for Canada. He must be the best. That's true. But then when it comes to accolades, yeah, you would say, I don't know, you could look at Team USA basketball, like them being on the Olympic team was kind of like, you kind of knew who was going to be on that Olympic team. So it wasn't really a surprise to anybody, but it is a surprise to someone that doesn't know volleyball. So you could like, oh, wow, that's Dan. Or at the same time, you're like, oh, that's someone who just is really good at volleyball for that country. I'll watch it for a bit. But at the end of the day, you get to show who you are to the world and you have that moment to do it, less than most professional sports do.
I think volleyball is growing at a crazy speed, and
Definitely is.
it's being talked about a lot more. Um, and I see it because I coach the tournaments, the nationals, the provincials. it's getting crazy. It is like the amount of teams in 18U boys, for example, has grown every single year. And usually there's a drop off where not as many teams are formed because the guys or girls are hitting that point in their life where they're not too sure if they're taking it to another level, or they're like, okay, you know what, I'm in my grade 12 year, I'm not going to play this year, and teams fall apart. But now the teams are growing and there's more teams, so it's like it's kind of crazy to think about. And to be honest, I think that Paris Games, I think, probably got the most traction towards volleyball in my opinion, because that beach court was posted everywhere. Like House of Highlights was all over, Bleacher Report was all over, because you guys were playing literally underneath the Eiffel Tower, which was insane. And I think it really, people were like, let me go check this out. Let me go see how this is all operating.
That's how I personally checked it out.
Really? Is that actually?
No, I saw it underneath the Eiffel Tower, and that's what I was saying earlier. Like, it was broadcasted by these main pages that are very NBA, NFL heavy. And then when you kind of take a glance at it, because you're watching it for the Olympics, and you're like, oh, this is a cool sport. And then you kind of get to understand it more and more. And I understand Loretto saying it. I think it's growing more and more. And you need the Olympics to showcase this.
Definitely.
The talent there, right?
How was that court though, Dan?
You definitely, again, as soon as they announced it, I believe it was 2.5 years ago, like before we knew where the venue was going to be located. We heard rumors of it, but then 2 years before, it was like, yeah, at the bottom of the Eiffel Tower, right in front of it. So, yeah, you're striving towards making that, and you know you're going to play there. So once you get there, yeah, you took in that moment. You're like, all right, it was a screensaver on my phone. Every single time I saw it, I tried to be as conscious as possible to look at that phone and be like, that's what I'm working towards. So when you're out there and you finally see it, you're like, wow. But like, you're in the moment and you're present. And you're like, is this happening? But you're going through all these emotions that I didn't really get to feel the beauty of it until I got to see the Olympics from the viewer's point of view. Like when I was watching the Olympics, when Phil Dalhausser was the best beach blocker in the world, and when he won gold in China in 2008, it's like seeing the Olympics from that view, you're like, oh my God, this seems so like incredible. But then when you're there, it's like, yeah, like I've already seen it 100 times, 1,000 times in my mind. Now it's just like I'm seeing it physically, but it's always been existed for me to be there based on the goals that I set to make that happen. So it's like, yeah, I took it in, but at the same time, I'm entering a venue that I've already prepared for.
Right. I mean, that's a crazy mindset though. Like, I mean, you're obviously mentally ahead of so many athletes, because I think naturally, even if I was playing there, I don't think I'd like, not that I wouldn't be able to handle it, but I'd look up and be like, holy shit, this is crazy, you know? But you're right though, in the aspect that you can't let it affect you. You have that moment and you can't let anything else and like that's outside of the game become your game, right? And that's tough. So for you to say that court really, you know, you were there and you were ready to play, that's not easy. That's not easy.
You allow certain things in. Like I wanted to know where my father and my fiance and where my family were kind of sitting, and where our coach was located, and knowing, you know, just the elements of the stadium, like knowing which way kind of the wind is coming in and all that stuff. So, but like you still need to lock in your focus and focus just on the court and the ball, right? And your opponents. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm going to allow in this little 1 percentile of the crowd, because that's where there's a Canada flag with my brother holding it, right? So it's like nothing else exists though. You need to add that in, knowing that it's not going to distract you.
Right.
Right. So it's like you get a big point, and like I want to be like, for that 2 seconds, like that's my brother up there, but right back to nothing else, right? Nothing else affects it. But yeah.
Dan, what was the toughest team you had to, or toughest country you had to play against?
We faced the world champs. We knew going into it that they were going to be a very overall skilled team. Like that's why they were the best and won world championships the year before. But we like performed higher than our standard, and we were very happy with how we played. But I would have to say the toughest opponents were the Brazilians, Evandro and Arthur. Evandro is unbelievable. He's 6'11", has one of the best jump serves in the world, if not the best jump serve in the world. And he has a presence about himself. Like a lot of Brazilian athletes have this confidence about them and this passion about them that doesn't come off in any way but like, like joy and sometimes a little intimidating. And you have to deal with that, knowing that you have this beast of a guy that's just going to detonate on you no matter what happens. And they played extremely well against us, and we underperformed. Even if we played at our standard, I think they would have beat us, but we underperformed a little bit. And then we faced Austria in pool play, and we ended up winning that match. And we actually played up with a little bit more freedom in that match. Sam and I had a nice chat at dinner at the Athlete Village, and we kind of had a moment where we could talk things about being like, hey, we're overthinking this too much. We just need to go out there and play. Like, you and I need to be the most important people in the world for these 40 minutes and do everything we can to get this to happen. And we kind of let go of game plan, and we let go of strategies, and we just kind of connected to each other, and we played at our standard, and we did well. Yeah.
And then you say you had that important conversation at dinner. How important is it to understand in beach volleyball now that there's two people, right? And for people listening, it's one thing to say that you can get mad at, like me and Adam can get in an argument, and maybe, we can get through a podcast because we're talking to somebody else, or, we can get through it. But to be playing beach volleyball, which you need your partner in every single aspect of the game, to have that level of relationship, how important do you think it is to either have space from each other, or like, how did you guys go about like just staying, I guess, friends, but teammates at the same time?
It's challenging. The relationship, we call it a relationship, we call it a partnership, but you definitely need to know every aspect of what's going on with your teammate, from every element, physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically. You need to know where they're at. And sometimes your emotions are high, you're physically hurting, you're mentally fatigued. And how do you hold each other accountable to show up and be at a standard at practice every day, let alone when we're trying to perform? Right. So it's like the Allen Iverson quote, like practice. It's a hard balance to know when you're supposed to push at practice and give it your absolute all and kind of like destroy yourself, knowing that you just got stronger because of that. But at the same time, maintain knowing that you need to be at your absolute best on all four elements at your match. And you're trying to balance all of that load leading up to being your absolute best when you perform. And that's the journey of like going through the ups and downs of practice, but having to show up being your absolute best in all four of those elements and holding each other accountable to doing that. Sam and I traveled together all the time, shared Airbnbs, hotel rooms, taxis, almost every meal together. And you have to get along with each other. There has to be joy. There has to be laughter. There has to be accountability of like, Dan, you were so loud last night. I heard you snoring. Like, I didn't get that well of a sleep. Well, sorry, buddy. And then I would order him like a flat white, being like, that's what I can do for you. Like, here's some extra caffeine. I'm sorry I kept you up, but like, I'm sorry you feel better about it. And then you go and perform, and you're better because of those little relationships. So,
and that's really important when you're choosing your partner, right? And you have to have that relationship with them. Just because they're the best player and you're the best player doesn't always mean that you'll be the best team, right? And it's
agreed.
Yeah,
we're different human beings. We see life differently, and you have to come together and understand each other in order to just kind of keep growing together.
Yeah, and it's tough. I know from experience. Like I when I played beach, not in the Olympics or anything, but I performed better with the guys that I just had more fun with, and it was just more. Like you said, like you just drop the game plan and just go play. Those are the guys that I played best with, was because we weren't overthinking things. We were just there having fun and doing our thing. But as soon as you start to butt heads a little bit, that the sport becomes a lot tougher than it already is.
And we underperformed. I like kind of rewatched our Brazilian match, and I did not set Sam like at my standard that I'm capable of, like rewatching film and seeing that. And I could tell by my lower quality sets that I could normally deliver, Sam was getting frustrated. like in the video. And then in the moment, I'm just like, hey, what's wrong? Hey, what's wrong? Trying to like build on the things that he needs, maybe a little bit more energy. But yet I'm not even identifying how bad my set is. And yet that's not being communicated. So like at that moment, if it was just like, if I just thought less about Sam and focused on my set, I could have helped him. But at the same time, like if Sam was like, Dan, I need you to set better. Like, oh, okay, cool. Like the communication is key and you just learn from it. And like, yeah, I think if we would have went through that, 3 months beforehand, maybe that one match we could have played our best. Maybe not won, but like at least would have been better through having that experience beforehand.
And do you feel that you've got your dream? Like you played at the Olympics, you played at that amazing arena. Do you feel accomplished in your beach volleyball career where you could say like, you know what, like I could sit back and be like, I'm super proud of myself? Because I could sit here and say that I'm super proud of you and it was awesome watching you. But could you do you feel 100% satisfied saying like, yeah, you know what, I did everything that I wanted to do?
I did everything that I could. I did everything that I could based on who I was, my discipline, my work ethic, my adversity, my ability to chase my dreams. But I can still look back at the games, and even in the last 2 years, I can look back and be like, I could have been better. Like I could have been a little bit more disciplined here, or seeing these realizations now. I feel like if I were to go back and play again, I would be even better. I would be like even better now if I went back because of these experiences. So like in that moment when I performed and gave it my all and I gave my 100%, I know that. So when I'm proud of myself for that, the accomplishment part of like, it doesn't really matter. Like it does help a little bit knowing that there's a title to it, but it's more so the sacrifice and dedication of all the shit that you went through mentally, emotionally, physically, and psychologically, that it's like, I'm really happy I chose to do this, knowing that I'm stronger in all four of those elements because of it. Maybe not physically. I'm definitely not physically the strongest right now than I was 2 years ago. But in other aspects on like how do I manage my emotion? How do I show up for the kids that I coach when I've had a long day? Like all of that training, being an Olympian and being a national team athlete helps me be a better coach for these 15-year-old girls that I coach now. I've had a tiring day, but I need to show up and that doesn't matter. There's no excuse. So it's like I get to practice and preach that all the time through coaching. And like we talked about earlier before this call, like all you want to do is these kids to learn from this, and you can plant the seed, and maybe it takes 3 months, maybe it takes 6 months, maybe they quit volleyball and then they end up playing again 6 years later and they make their varsity team and they're like, thanks, Coach Loretto. It was because of you. It's like it all comes full circle. It
Yeah.
all comes full circle. And like when you wait for those moments, they're quite beautiful. Quite beautiful.
That's true. And these are the moments that you never see in the moment, right? You always think like I see it in the OVA where there's teams out there that play so hard for that gold medal, that travel to teams to build super teams just to win that medal. In the OVA, I'm a provincial champion, and they can go home and pat themselves on the shoulder and say, I'm a provincial champion in 18U boys volleyball. And I tell my boys all the time, I say, guys, what we're building here is more than just a medal. You're building these experiences and memories that'll last a lifetime, because I have those memories playing volleyball and I wouldn't want it any other way. Medals are nice, but the experiences that you take away from it is way bigger than the game, right? And I think a lot of people don't realize that when they're in the moment playing sports. Like it's great to be competitive, but it's also nice to think back, like, you know what? I'm not going to kick this kid who's been on the team for 3 years because somebody who just showed up who's a little bit better than him, I want to win. No, well, it's not worth it, because you know this kid, you know he has a good group of friends here, and you know that he's going to remember this the rest of his life. So what's it worth? The medal or a kid's memories, right? So I think that's forgotten a lot in sports, and maybe I'm biased in just volleyball, but I see it quite often.
We definitely are biased, even though I do appreciate other sports.
Yeah. It happens in the NBA. Everyone's just building these super teams. You look at the Dodgers in baseball right now. They're just paying for everyone just to go and win championships. Like it's a load of shit, man. But that's a different aspect.
Dan, I've been wanting to ask you because I know a lot of athletes have different things for, prep and stuff like that. And I'm curious if you and your teammate had a superstition or a go-to thing you guys did before any games. I know me and Loretto have one before every podcast. We take a shot of tequila or vodka, or just like it's not even just a drink. It's just a superstition that we had, and we had a great successful pod after one, and we're like, all right, like we got to continue the tradition. So I'm curious if you and your teammate have one.
Sam and I, we didn't have like 100% superstition that we had to do every single day, like lucky socks or like a certain routine that we had to do every day. But we had moments that we would make sure that we shared together as a team. Like we always had, especially on the court, like we had like a slide and a touch that we would do to make sure that that helps us reset. And that would always be kind of routine. I want to call it superstition, but maybe when it comes to superstition, we watched, why am I blanking out right now? Ted, the Apple TV TV show where the football the football coach, the soccer coach gets hired to vice versa. The football coach gets hired to coach a soccer team, and we'd watch an episode every time we traveled, because I would travel with my laptop and always find these funny ways to try to hook up my HDMI up until hotel rooms. It was never successful, but every time that we did, we would watch it together. And if not, we would kind of sit and watch it on my laptop. So we would watch that show throughout our journey. So was it superstition? No, but like we kind of had to do it at the end of every night to like cool off before doing our routine again the next day.
That's amazing.
But that was funny.
That's funny. Were you a superstitious guy, like playing? Did you have anything, like not just with Sam, but just like personally? You didn't never.
No, I have one pair of champion boxers that are worn to hell. And if my wife saw them, she'd probably throw them out because there's no sentimental meaning to them. But I still have that pair. I would put them on during the most important matches that I felt that were a part of my career. Like whether I made it further in a tournament, those were going on and staying on. And then if they're like less important, less tournament, and they're just pool play matches, I wouldn't put them on. But if I got to a quarterfinal again, I would put them on. So I have these boxers that no one really knows how important they are except for me. So that's, I guess, a bit of a superstition.
Yeah.
Now, do you wear those coaching now if you're going to
No.
What if the team? What if your team you coach heads to the finals?
If again, like I've spoken to parents on my team, like if we really achieve and play above our standard, and we kind of like make a finals in U15 provincials tier 1 div 1, I'm going to get a lot of bottles bought in for me. That's for sure. And I will wear those briefs and boxers to that match just to pull them back out and know that it is possible. The underdogs, it is possible.
maybe that's a little motivation for your girls. This is bring back your superstitions,
Just the stories though, not the briefs.
Yeah.
They don't need to see those, but they'll know they're on.
The Break Talk podcast is brought to you by Skilled Trades College. Looking to get involved with the trades but don't know where to start? Where can you find all the info, Loretto?
Head over to skilledtradescollege.ca and get the skills to pay the bills.
All right, Dan. So we do this segment here on the podcast, and it's called Break Time. So basically how it works is you're going to build your version of a GOAT, the greatest athlete ever. I'm going to list you 4 categories, and you can list any athlete from any era in any sport. Okay, so the 4 categories are going to be mindset, athleticism, clutch factor, and trash talk.
Interesting. Okay.
And you can't repeat the athletes. So if you were to say one, you can't repeat them. So the first one will say mindset.
You can name yourself.
Yeah, you can say that.
No, someone else can name me if I have the honor of doing that. But when it comes to I love these closed-ended questions, but how crazy my mind works. I'll always flip it to keep it open, but I'll try to keep it on track. I would say Mamba mentality. Kobe, I love the way Kobe focused. I love the way how competitive he was for his team. I love how he viewed the game, knowing that he had to play, knowing that people were watching him. Like he would play through injury. He would just even sharing the brief moments of him for years after his career until he passed, like his motivational talks and podcasts, and how he sees not only the game, but how he sees life. Like, he's like, what'd you learn after playing all these years of the NBA? He's like, empathy and compassion. That's what I learned. And I'm like, I think I'm going through that phase now, but even though I watched it years ago, I'm like, oh, empathy and compassion? Weird, right? And it's like, oh, but so like I have his jersey. Like I only own one jersey, and it's Kobe's when it comes to basketball. But again, like Michael Jordan, the GOAT, yeah, of course. But
Yeah. I wish-
mentality, it goes Kobe for sure.
Okay.
I wish Kobe was around for the podcast days, because at the time podcasts weren't, big or
Agreed.
yeah.
I think
Now
he could have shared. We're missing a lot that he could have shared.
he could have spoke some wisdom.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Yeah, I agree on that, actually. I never thought about that. All right. The next category here, Dan, is athleticism. The most athletic athlete ever.
Most athletic athlete ever. Damian Warner. I think if you watch someone do the decathlon and you see the variety of disciplines that your body needs to do when it comes to speed, power, coordination, tone, cardio, I think to train for all of those 10 events and produce like stats, like fastest times, heaviest lifts, farthest throws, I think, yeah. Regards to like famous people athleticism, I'd say LeBron's up there. Like LeBron, when it comes to his size, power, and speed and longevity, when it comes to pure athleticism and his movement and what he's been able to accomplish in major four sports, yeah, I would say LeBron.
I like that first road you were going down, though, because that's someone who does so many different things, right? We've never gotten that before.
yeah, we haven't got that before.
Like someone that's not, let's just say, in the NBA, NHL, or I guess UFC. Yeah,
Mainstream sports.
yeah.
I guess I would say the way I view athleticism is like just how the body moves, how it's toned, how fast it is, how high it jumps, how far it throws, like just the body itself. So I love the Summer Olympics, obviously, and I love the Winter Olympics. But when I can see a sport where you're kind of just seeing the human body, like tights or like swimmers or track stars or sprinters, like you're seeing their full tone and muscle and movement, when sometimes hockey, even though it's one of the hardest sports in the world, they're wearing equipment. And it's like you can't really see how quick these guys are when it comes to how fast they move. You can on skates and in speed, but you don't really get to see the body move and its athleticism. So it's hidden. Hockey players actually, like, if they were to wear tights, let's say, I think people would look at the sport and see it even harder.
It's true.
Yeah.
Because you don't realize how much they're moving, like very, very minimum, like with their hands,
The
their
force
feet,
they
their
put
body.
on and the how. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's
So
true.
when it comes to athleticism, Damian Warner and LeBron James.
I like it. Next one's clutch factor.
Roger Federer.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
that's gold.
Again, I think the discipline of playing a sport that's just you and you're not fighting against time. It's like rules and points, like tennis. It's just you out there. There's no excuse. There's no accountability. There's no partnership. There's no relationship. It's just you. And I think he's mastered the ability to manage his emotions, to make every point. He had this incredible speech that I listen to all the time. Every point means the world, because it does in that moment. But when you lose that point, it's in the past. And now you have to focus on the next point and come up with a way of knowing that this is the most important point in the world, without allowing that mistake or error or loss of point to affect you. So, and when it comes to his winning percentage, when it comes to his ability to his stats, when it comes to, Masters won and sets won and points won per match, and doing it in a solo sport, I don't think I could do that. So
Yeah.
Roger Federer.
That's a good. That's
Yeah, that's a lot.
good.
Yeah,
That's
that's
one.
good. That's good. The last one, Dan, is trash talk.
Right away, Kevin Garnett popped into my head because I've seen, like, watching basketball when I was a teenager, like that league was built different. Like referees didn't really get involved as much as they do now or stop it beforehand. Kevin Garnett must have been just reckless to deal with. Just always up in your grill. Like, I would hate to be his opponent, and I would, like, in a way, love to be his teammate, but at the same time, you'd be like, dude, you're a dick.
Yeah, straight
But
up.
sometimes that is needed in order to influence the outcome of winning and losing. So, like, you got to do what you got to do. And I think Kevin Garnett did that. And that's another reason why he stood out. He was a physical presence and, like, dominated the physical game, which helped him get more points and more boards. But he wasn't like a talent. He wasn't like dribbling and shooting and being as flowy as MJ and like Charles and stuff, but or Magic Johnson. But his trash talk, he got under the skin of people, like everyone except for like MJ and Kobe.
And Kobe.
Everyone else, like, never wanted, like, Kevin Garnett, like, I'm playing defense on you. I'm pretty sure everyone else, except for those two, were scared. I would be.
Yeah, he said some things that were just like, holy shit. And you could see his mannerisms and everything. The way he looked at people was almost like he wanted to, like, it was war. Like, he was just playing defense on you, but it was fucking war. Like, he didn't give a shit.
Yeah, this is going to be a long ass game.
Yeah. I wish that they mic'd up athletes back then.
I know.
Like, you know how
Right?
now
Like, with
they
the
mic up
technology
athletes?
these days, I agree. I
It'd be
agree.
crazy.
Everything would be beeped.
Yeah, it would just be a beep,
Yes, it
beep,
would.
beep. Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Were you ever a trash talker when you played?
I was a trash talker respectfully if you were the one to start it disrespectfully. So, like, I would face teams where they would, push the limit of confidence and arrogance and turn into a bit of a dick. And I would do it to defend my partner. I'd do it to defend my teammates, but I would never start it.
And that goes to say, like, in a sport where it's just two people and stuff like that, it's not a huge team. I can see how that could cross the line very quick. You know what I mean? As opposed to a team sport.
Even playing indoor volleyball. Sorry to interrupt, Adam. Even playing indoor volleyball, there's more teammates and there's more opportunities for people to talk trash to more of your teammates, whether they find the excuse or not. So playing indoor volleyball for OVA and rep and university at York, it's like, as a teammate, as a leader, you can't let someone trash talk your teammate knowing that it is actually affecting them. And even if it's not, it's coming your way. Yeah.
I wish I saw that.
My attitude is where the ball is off your faces, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I feel like you're the type of guy is just like, it takes a lot to piss you off, but if you get pissed off or someone crosses you the wrong way, you're gonna make sure they know what they started.
I'm definitely a lover, not a fighter. I definitely am. I try to resolve. I try to, de-escalate, and get everyone to just remind, like, it's more than sport, right? It's not about this. Like, yeah, egos are involved, but like, kids are watching kind of thing. Like, let's handle ourselves in a sportsmanship way. But yeah, if you ever crossed the line and laid hands on one of my teammates in a way where, like, they had to protect themselves and they were vulnerable, I would. I'm not like a professional fighter. Like, I haven't taken any classes on how to, like, beat someone up or defend myself, but I would know my advantages and I would fight for the boys. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Dan, with the Olympics being on now, and there's some great sports coming on in the winter. Are there any sports you're looking forward to watch yourself as someone who's been there and seen all the teams and stuff?
Like, scheduling wise, I'm definitely going to watch Team Canada hockey. Like, knowing Crosby is wearing the captain again and how long he's been around, it's pretty nostalgic to watch him perform with some of the younger leaders and bigger kind of bigger guys coming into the NHL and OHL. But scheduled wise, I'm definitely going to watch Team Canada hockey. But like I have it on, like I have my CBC Sports Gem app, and I have it on in the background while doing some meetings and doing some emails. But I watched some figure skating this morning, and again, very simple. Like I don't watch figure skating unless it's on the Olympics, or unless I know someone who I'm like close to, or have heard a story about someone that I want to be tuned in to watch. But like I teared up like twice just hearing their story, hearing, you know, what they've been through, or seeing the beauty of their like 2-minute and 30-second performance. Like that's all it comes down to. It's wild. So seeing the beauty in those athletes, when I tune in, it's pretty cool to see. And I also get to see, you know, countries that dominate in certain disciplines that I'm not really familiar with in the smaller sports, like long jump skiing and long cross country skiing. Getting
That
to see
long
which,
jump stuff is crazy.
yeah,
That is
they fly for
crazy.
such a long time.
It's like the flying squirrel.
They're getting yeeted.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't even understand the full like grading on it. I really don't. I think it's they have to land in a certain area and they have to like be like stiff and like I don't know, like they fly perfectly. I don't know. Their legs are like sprawled out. Like I don't know. It's crazy.
It's like a human glide. It's like they're it's wild.
I don't know where you're able to practice this on a regular basis.
I don't know.
Like, how do you, like, you
Right?
don't just, like, where do you
Yeah.
go? You don't go to your
That's
local
also a
gym
great
and
question.
fucking
Yeah, where
fly,
would you train that? You would have to do. Yeah, exactly. You would have to.
live by a
Yeah.
mountain.
How you,
Definitely.
my question
So
is,
they're-
how you even get into that? And when you first started, like, how do you practice like safety? Like, I feel like every time you jump, like you could literally die.
That's what's scary about like snowboarding half pipe. Like
That's
if
also
you
crazy.
turn an angle or like turn your snowboard and you carve a little bit and you're going to do this 360 like goofy stance landing and you miss it by 6 inches, you're like breaking your hips, you're smashing your head. Like it's scary to watch. And then they do speed and flips and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, the ski jumpers, they're going for such a long time. If you like a little gust of wind comes and you slide that ski a
You're-
different
you're
way,
gone.
like you're breaking your arm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like here comes the stretcher. So
Yeah, you're
and
breaking
especially
your arm.
in winter, like there seems to be a lot more dangerous sports in Winter
Right?
Olympics.
Yeah, for sure.
Like even just bobsledding. Like
Yeah. It's
Like-
fast.
it's fast.
Yeah.
It's like you're just ripping
Dangerous.
it down ice. Like it's just ice. Like one bad
Yeah.
move and like, okay, yeah, you got a helmet on, but you're still on ice going like 120 kilometers an hour or something. It's
Yeah.
pretty wild. It's pretty wild.
It is. It is
Dan.
like, yeah, go ahead, Adam.
Sorry. Finish what you're saying. I just had a question for you.
It's when I forget, I should know this, but it's when they're going down like the icicle tunnels, the skeleton, sorry. And
Yeah.
they're going face first. Now they have the GoPros and the technology to see their
Yeah.
POV. And you're like, yeah, like on Accelera, one little slip, you're going that fast. Like you're wearing a helmet, but you're dead. Like if you like something little happens and and you hit something going on like head to head straight, like that's dangerous. And seeing that, it's a whole new perspective of how fast your decisions have to be and how one with the sled you have to be. Like, yeah, it's scary. And seeing, I saw the POV yesterday of what they can do now to see that, but it's been part of the Olympics for like 8 years now, but they didn't have a head cam on before, but now you're seeing it and you're like, dude, no way.
Yeah.
These guys got all of these guys got and women got balls. Like that's something like I don't know if I would even try. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Agreed.
Yeah.
What was your
Dan,
question, Adam?
Dan, I had a question about if for people that in general in all sports that are looking to take it serious and go down that route of becoming an athlete and perfecting your craft in sports, what advice would you give them to kind of push past that barrier of that unknowing feeling of if you're going to make it or maybe I should give up or something like that, whether it's I'm sure you can touch on all sports.
This comes from the perspective of being an athlete and a coach, which is nice. It's like, what do you want? Right? So what do you want to accomplish? Like love and joy can take you a long way if that's what you're focusing on. And there'll be pain throughout it, and there'll be ups and downs, and there'll be failure, right? There'll be injury. But like, does your love and your joy always trump that? And that's taught me to be a better coach. That's taught me to be a better husband. That's taught me to be a better friend. Um, it's like, what do you want? You have to, okay, what do you want? Well, what's your goal? Right? It's like if you love and if you love something and you have so much joy doing it, even though there's, again, hard work, sometimes 2-3 days, it sucks for the short term of things, but the longevity of it, it's because of love and joy. So the kids need to understand, okay, if you want this to be a part of your life and you seem to like be good at it, or you can get great at it, stick to it, right? Stick to it and don't give up when it gets tough. Continue to focus on why you want to do it. Some people love the experience of being a varsity athlete and having to, juggle and look forward to playing volleyball, even though the stress of school and courses and tests and exams but sometimes it's a balance for what you want to accomplish. And yeah, they're long days, but I loved dealing with my hard days knowing that I had a game to look forward to on the weekend. Like it gave me a reason to push through the things that I absolutely didn't like doing, which was like studying. But like it had to get done, right? Or else I couldn't play. Like I can't fail and be on part of a team. So it held me accountable and disciplined to actually do the areas in my life that need to get done. Education is important, and still be able to have love and joy and play with the boys, right? Or play with my partner and
Right.
and get strong, even like on tough days. Like, you come off a loss and you're like, wait a second, I get to work out for an hour and a half, right? I'm keeping my body healthy. I get to look at my six pack and feel good about myself, confidence wise and pride wise. And sometimes that's what the motivation is needed that day, because I just don't have it to be like, oh, I'm doing this so I can hit harder. No, I'm doing this to look good. I'm doing this to feel strong. And sometimes you need to look forward to other goals that you have that you sometimes lose sight in. So don't just like, oh, I want to make this, and if it doesn't happen, then I'm done. I'm quitting. No, it's like it's a process. You need to really find out why you're doing it, and if you if you love it, you always got to think about that first. And you lose sight of that sometimes, but you need good people in your life to remind you of that and be like, hey, go back and do it again.
Right.
Yeah.
Beautiful said. That was well said. Dan, if you could tell your younger self something that you wish you heard when you were younger, maybe going through something, whether it was a hard time in your life or just something that athletes go through day to day, like something like kind of like how you just talked about that. What's something that you wish you heard? Like just like straight up, like if I knew this, I would have been 10 steps ahead, or it really would have helped me get through this. What would that one liner be?
Believe in yourself when you're feeling shameful, when you feel embarrassed. Like sometimes you rely on the people that you love, even my own father, even my own brother, even sometimes my best friends going up through high school when I'm kind of learning and building my values as a person and going through, learning about education, but learning about who I am. Am I a follower? Am I a leader? Do I, step in when bad things are being done, or do I not say anything? It's like when you're ashamed of certain decisions you've made, or you're embarrassed because you messed up in one certain aspect in your life and made a bad decision. In that moment, if I could say to myself, hey, Dan, it's okay. Still believe in yourself. I would have been a greater athlete. I would be a better human being. Simple as that.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting you say that, because you never hear that too much. I think one guest we said was something he said to himself was plan to fail, because failing is when you're going to learn. And that kind of relates to what you're saying, is that believe in yourself when you're most vulnerable or embarrassed, right? Because if you can do that, then it'll be way easier to believe in yourself when you're on a high, or you're getting better and you see the end goal, right? But if that's the tough part. And I think now that you say that, it really opens up my mind to some things where it's just like, shit, like if I could figure it out when the times were terrible and I could love like myself and believe in myself when those times happen, then I feel like that would help a lot, help me and maybe even help others, you know? So that was actually very interesting. I love that.
You know what was beautiful, Loretto? It was, I don't know, I would say 6 years after we met. We were still connected on social media. Every once in a while, we would reach out. And you sent me a picture and you wrote "believe" on your wrist. And you did it with a marker. And you didn't message me for like a year. And then you just said, look, like I was doing something. I thought of you. I did this. And I was like, holy, like, I love that.
Yeah.
Why did he do that? Why is he sending me this? Is this supposed to like, and then
yeah, it was, that's crazy. You got to,
it became real.
Holy
so like
shit.
you did something that was an idea and then you washed it off. But all it takes is a moment like that to make something permanent, to make an idea a goal and to make it happen. And it was part of my own belief system because I didn't believe myself till I was 28, right? Like in those deep, vulnerable moments when things were going tough, that's when I would be like, okay, this hurts. This is a lot to deal with. Like I just broke up with an ex that I thought I could marry. Like I'm broke. Like it's okay. I believe in myself. Like it's in that moment when I was like, wow, I'm hitting the lowest of lows and I can still tell myself like a positive affirmation that it's like, oh my gosh, this is what matters. And then boom, I made it real in that moment. And even for my career, whenever I would step onto the court, I would kiss it and be like, there's going to be moments where I'd make the biggest hit in my life. I jump high, I hit hard, and I'm going to get blocked straight down. It's just 1 point. I need to believe in myself. It's not embarrassing. And then you just push out the next point. So these little things are always part of how it all comes full circle. And I think life should be like that. And sports kind of creates a bit more of that when it comes to teamwork and community and mindset. So like when you hear a mindset from MJ, when you hear a mindset from these athletes that we look up to, they're more powerful. Like they hit us a little bit more differently than let's just say, I don't mean to say this in a bad way, but like an author. Like if you're a philanthropist, then yeah, I'm going to read your books if you're making a positive impact on the world. But I'm not going to remember a quote if you didn't impact someone's ability to feel positive about themselves. So
yeah, fair. Wow. That got deep.
Yeah, that was beautifully said.
Yeah.
It's always deep.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and it's been a while since we've seen each other, but man, I know when I reach out to you to come on, I told you, I was like, dude, I miss you. Like we gotta chat, you know, we gotta talk. And I've been pretty happy just chatting and shooting the shit with you, just catching up. It's been a blast, man. And I'm really thinking about all the old times when you got me into the sport in volleyball, and we talked a little briefly before the call, and you were the one who pushed me out of my limits, right? And you were the reason why I started playing the sport and got me in a position I am today. And you think like, oh, how does volleyball get you to that? Well, it did. It became opportunities. It got me different places to meet different people, and all these different things happen in my life. But one of the first steps was you pushing me to play and finding that love for it, right? If it wasn't for you, then I wouldn't have loved the sport, because I just thought of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm honestly speaking, like it's honestly true. And my mom would thank you too. Like she probably has 1,000 times, because she brought me to volleyball because I had quit soccer and said you need to do something. And yeah, here we are now shooting the shit. But
huge respect for your mother. Huge respect.
Yeah. Thank you. But yeah, man, it's been a blast, and thank you for coming on and talking about your stories and speaking to all the things that you talked about and said very nicely. So thank you.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity, because I'm not one to really open up and answer questions unless I'm asked. So it was an honor to share, and I love the concept and what you're trying to accomplish. Like I love the title of the show as well. Like all it takes sometimes is 13 minutes to just go on a little bit of a break and talk to the right person. And if you can get someone on to promote that message and have a little break from what they're going through, I think it's pretty ironic that you're doing that. So
That's amazing.
That's true.
Dan, well, we appreciate you coming on the show, taking time out of your day. At least I can say now I've spoken to an Olympian. I don't know too many people that can say that, so it's an honor. It's
There's
great
one.
what you're doing for the sport of volleyball. And he was, or like I was saying, he was the one who mentioned volleyball in the Olympics, and that was my first time seeing you, honestly, on TV, and getting to see you now and talk to you is kind of cool. And just seeing what you're doing for the sport and the way you approach life is very different. And I'm sure you're going to inspire a lot of people out there.
I hope so. I've been inspired, and I hope that I will be able to do a lot more.
You will. That's for sure.
And so will you.
We're working
Yes,
on
you
it.
will.
We're working on it.
That every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Believe.
Believe.
Yeah.
Believe.
Well, Dan, before you run, just if you don't mind, when you like leave the call, if you just don't close the tab, it like the app needs like a minute or two just to download it from like your side.
Sure.
So if you don't mind just leaving the tab open,
Yeah.
that would be lovely.
I can just
to-
leave it open like this, and then you can cut it and edit the last part of it. But like,
yeah,
whatever
yeah,
works.
yeah. That was awesome though, dude.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
that was amazing. Very, very, very well. Like, we've interviewed a lot of people, but like you can talk, and you can hit people in a way, like, even I'm sitting there like, whoa, like this guy, like, he's motivating.
Dude, I got emotional. Like at the end there, I genuinely
motivated.
I got emotional, man.
Yeah.
It better be a good emotional. You know what I mean? Like,
No, yeah, no, for sure.
right? That's
For
what that's what matters most. Like,
Yeah.
I'm glad. No, I know the impact that, again, like, there's 100 kids out there, and if that one kid, you can make a difference to, then that's all that matters. And like, when it comes to our time and what we're doing and the hard work that we goes towards things, if you keep if you stay focused on those things, hard days will feel great when you put your head on your pillow.
Yeah,
But,
true.
And you have all his socials to plug,
what's-
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's next? What's next for you guys? What are you working on? What are you trying to expand? Who's your next guest?
Well, we're working right now to continue to get guests. Who's on next week? Actually,
Next week we have
I think it's George, right? George is
NFL.
yeah, he's it's actually a trade episode. Funny enough.
Funny enough.
Yeah, we're having an HVAC technician on. He's a friend of
wow.
ours. So that'll be nice. We're working on Loud Luxury.
Okay.
So we got in contact with their managers, and they responded to our DM, and so we're just like kind of figuring out dates and stuff because they're in Australia right now, DJing. As crazy like their life is. So yeah, we're working on that, and other than that, then we're just working away. This isn't like our full-time thing, right? So we kind of just do it on the side and just see what guests come out of it. So
Incredible.
It's cool speaking to all different people and like different walks of life, and everyone's got a story. And obviously, like, we do our best to try to make it entertaining and interview people with, a little bit more life experience than other people and done certain shit. And, when you get all these different people from different parts of the world, really, and it's really cool to see, everyone's point of view. And we like to take some inspiration from all these people and, plug it into our own lives. And, and like I said, everyone's got a story, right? And it's,
Yes, they do.
and a lot of people don't know how they got there, or they always, like, keep it business professional, and no one has the time to talk about past and present. So we kind of try to cover that and see who the person is, right? Just behind the business or behind the person, and who that person actually is. So,
Wonderful.
yeah.
That's great. No, I'm excited. Excited.
what's next for you? Just coaching away?
Coaching away. I'm off to Florida for a tournament in the States, and then my wife
Right.
is going through like her end of the year playoffs, so I'm trying to support her as much as I can. And then beach volleyball is around the corner, right? Coaching a lot of kids doing that too, but yeah, we're looking forward to being out here full time in Kingston and having a little bit better management of my own time when it comes to being a little bit more productive and active behind a computer, and better communicator. And then yeah, just learning every day. Every day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
Thanks. Well, you make sure you say hi to your entire family for me, Loretto.
I will.
Thanks
I
for
will.
reaching
I
out.
will.
And
Yeah.
Adam, it was a pleasure to get to
Pleasure
know
meeting
you, and
again.
happy to see someone that Loretto, trusts and respects to build this experience off of. And that was also a cool experience for me to kind of get to know you as well today, knowing Loretto from so many years ago.
That's awesome.
So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Thank you, man. Hopefully I see you soon. If I can meet you in person one day.
You're gonna
Hey, you
look
never
up.
know, Loretto. Hey, you're old enough now, Loretto. You head downtown Toronto or something, you can send me an invite. Most of them will say no, but maybe I'll show up.
All right. I'll let you know when I'm down there. Or you let me
Sounds-
know when you're in Toronto. You're in Kingston most of the time.
There's an event in March that I might head to. Yeah, it's pretty nostalgic. It'll be like downtown Toronto on a Friday or something, but we'll see.
All
We'll
right.
see.
Let's see.
Let them know I'm coming.
All right, sounds good. First drink's on me if you guys come.